welcome back to our chemistry class. In previous class or previous session, we have been discussing about chemical properties of metals. In this module, we shall continue our discussion on how do metals react with water and how do metals and non-metals react each other. First of all, let us study about how do metals react with water. How do metals react with water? Children, you know, metals are having a different reactivities. Like some are very highly reactive in nature, some are moderately reactive, and some are very least reactive. The same thing you can observe in case of reaction of metals with water also. Like sodium and potassium, if you consider, sodium and potassium are very highly reactive in nature, right? Now, this sodium and potassium, if you take a beaker and add this small piece of sodium or potassium into water, what happens? They will dance over the surface of water very vigorously and they produces hydrogen gas. And because of the evolution of hydrogen gas, you can see or you can hear a pop sound, right? That is sodium plus H2O gives sodium hydroxide plus H2 plus heat energy is also evolved. So we can say this type of reactions are exothermic reactions also. Now, in case of potassium also reacts with water to produce KOH plus H2 plus heat. Now we represent H2 and all with an arrow mark pointing upward. This arrow mark pointing upward shows that hydrogen gas is evolving during the reaction. Clear? Now let's look into the next metal, that is calcium. In case of calcium, calcium will sink into water. Why? Because on reacting calcium with water, calcium will produce calcium hydroxide plus hydrogen. This hydrogen formed actually makes they actually adhere or absorb on the surfaces of this calcium, and because of that heaviness calcium will sink into water. Whereas you have seen that sodium and potassium are very highly reactive, they float on the surface of water and will vigorously react. Now that much vigorous reaction you will not find in this case of calcium. And if you consider another metal like magnesium, magnesium will not react with cold water, it will react with hot water. You have to write hot water. With hot water, magnesium will give magnesium hydroxide plus hydrogen gas. Okay. Now, if you consider other metals like iron and aluminium, this iron and aluminium both will not react even with hot water. They need, we have to use steam. With the steam, they will produce their Fe2O3, and in case of aluminium, they will produce Al2O3. Children, what you have to understand from this? This reaction shows that the reactivity of metals slowly decreases from sodium to calcium, then calcium to magnesium and to iron, aluminium and all. Okay? And whereas gold, silver and all, you know, they will not react even with steam also. Clear? So that means there is a hierarchy in the reactivity series in which there are some metals which are very highly reactive in nature, some are moderately reactive and some are least reactive. Clear? Now let's move on to the next topic. How do metals react with non-metals? So far we have been discussing about metals, how do they react with the different substances. Now we shall actually make these two substances, metals and non-metals, to react each other, or how do they react and produce what results can be obtained. Children, you know that metals are, or the elements are reactive. Why? Because the reactivity of a substance is due to the tendency to complete valency rule, right? In case of noble gases, they are actually least reactive. Why? Because they have completely filled the outer orbits. Okay. Now, if you consider some metals like sodium or magnesium, okay, sodium has, what is the atomic number of sodium? Yes, sodium has an atomic number 11 and magnesium has an atomic number 12. Right? The electronic configuration of sodium is, when you write KLMN, sodium has an electronic configuration of 2, 8 and 1. 2 plus 8, 10, 10 plus 1, total comes 11. Right? Now in case of magnesium, it has 2, 8, 2 configuration. Now what happens, children? This last one electron, in case of sodium 1 electron and in case of magnesium 2 electrons are there. So they want to just lose these electrons in order to complete their outer electronic configuration as 8 electrons. So that's why they are in a tendency to lose this electron. When they are losing this electron, children, you must remember, when these are when they are losing the electrons, they becomes positively charged ions. It becomes Na positive by losing 1 electron. Sodium will lose 1 electron. Sodium having 281 electronic configuration. By losing 1 electron, sodium becomes a Na positive having a 28 electronic configuration. And this 1 electron is lost, that's why it became Na positive. Okay, let me show you by electron structure what you have studied in 9th standard. That is, in the K shell there are 2 electrons maximum can be filled, and second one 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 we have completed. 2 plus 8 is 10. Now in the third shell we have 1 electron in case of sodium, right? In case of magnesium we will be having 1 more electron. Okay. Now the tendency of this sodium, magnesium and all, the tendency of losing electron will be more. That's why they are called electropositive elements. Now if you consider non-metal such as chlorine. Now let me take an example of Cl. Cl, what is the atomic number of Cl? Cl is 17. Cl is, atomic number of Cl is 17. So the electronic configuration is 2, 8, 7. Now look at this, children. This 2, 8, 7. In the K shell 2 electrons, L shell there are 8 electrons, and in the M shell there are 7 electrons. Now Cl require 1 electron. Correct? Now this 1 electron sodium is ready to give. Okay. Now when sodium gives its 1 electron to chlorine having a 287 configuration, by accepting 1 electron, it becomes a Cl negative having 288 configuration. 288 configuration is the configuration of noble gas. Clear, students? Now this Na positive will attract this Cl negative to produce NaCl. Here, this NaCl, which is performed by the attraction of these electrostatic forces, that we can say they form because of the ions which are produced. These two are the ions which are produced by the formation of ions. The compounds formed by the combination of ions, the substance formed, we call it as ionic bond, or substance we call it as ionic compounds. So children, you have to also remember that ionic compounds are formed when metals and non-metals react each other. Let us take in the case of magnesium. Magnesium having a electronic configuration 282 on combining with the chlorine having an electronic configuration of 287. Now, chlorine require one electron only because it has got 7 electrons in the outermost orbit. Now, to receive one electron, magnesium is actually having 2 electrons in the last orbit, correct? Now, in order to receive 2 electron, chlorine is not capable. Now, chlorine what will do? Chlorine will take one more chlorine, so that this chlorine also having 287 configuration, in which one electron will be given to this chlorine and one electron will be given to this chlorine. Now, we can draw by the electron dot structures, where we represent only the 2 electrons which are coming in the outermost electron. Now, there are 2 chlorine atoms. So, chlorine atom having electronic configurations 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 electrons are there in the outermost orbit, and in the other one also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is actually one chlorine and this is another chlorine. Now, when the formation of MgCl2, Mg will donate both the electrons to Cl and it will produce MgCl2, that is magnesium chloride is produced. Clear? Now let's take another example of calcium. Calcium's case, calcium atomic number 20. So the electronic configuration of calcium is 2882. Okay. Now, in this case, calcium having electronic configuration 2882. Similar case of magnesium, these 2 electrons calcium will tend to donate. Suppose we are having another atom like oxygen having atomic number 8. Atomic number of oxygen is 8. So we can write the electronic configuration as 2, 6. Now, oxygen outermost orbit 6 electrons are there. So it requires 2 more electrons to complete its valency. Correct? Now calcium is having 2 electrons in the outermost orbit. Now these 2 electrons calcium will lose and calcium will become Ca2 positive. How this Ca2 positive becomes? Because it is having the electronic configuration of 2882. Will after losing 2 electrons, it becomes a 288 configuration. These 2 electrons are lost, that's why it is getting a 2 positive charge, and oxygen by receiving this oxygen having 2,6 configuration, by receiving it becomes oxygen 2 negative. Why? Because it is becoming 2,8 configuration. Okay. So the formation of these two will lead to the formation of CaO. What is CaO? CaO is a calcium oxide. Okay. So another ionic compound is formed. So what are ionic compounds, children? Ionic compounds are formed when charged particles or charged atoms attract each other to form electrostatic bond is produced. Okay, through this electrostatic bond, ionic compounds are formed. Okay, ionic compounds are formed, and the bond between these atoms are said to be ionic bond. These bonds are called ionic bond. Okay, ionic bond is formed. Clear? Now let's also discuss about ionic compounds. What are their properties? Properties of ionic compounds. Okay, children, we have already studied that ionic compounds are formed by the combination of ions, correct? Now, first of all, the property which we consider is physical physical nature. Okay, they are actually very hard and brittle. They are very hard and brittle in nature. Brittle means when you hit with a hard object, substance become powdery in nature, or a powdery substance is produced. Next one is they have very high melting and boiling points. Means because of the strong force of attraction between them, they will not actually dissociate very easily. So they are having a very high melting and boiling point. Third one is their electrical properties or electrical conductivity. Electrical conductivity, when we consider in the crystalline solid state, they do not conduct electricity. Why? Because they do not contain ions when they are in the solid form, because they are very strongly bonded each other. But as soon as they dissolved into water, they forms Na positive or Cl negative. So these ions actually responsible for conduction of electricity. And fourth one is solubility. They are soluble in water. They are soluble in water, but insoluble in organic solvents. Children, let's study once again the properties of ionic compounds. Physical nature of ionic compounds: they are hard and brittle. They have high melting point and boiling point. Their electrical conductivity in the solutions, when they in the molten form or in the liquid form, they conduct electricity. Children, you must remember, in the solid state they do not conduct electricity. Either in the molten form or in the solution, they will conduct electricity. And solubility, when you consider, they are soluble in water but insoluble in kerosene oil or some other organic solvents. They do not dissolve. Now let's recap the topics what we have learned today. Today we have studied about metals reacts with the water to produce metal hydroxide and hydrogen gas, and also we have discussed that metals and non-metals react each other and they produce ionic compounds. Children, what are ionic compounds? Ionic compounds are also called electrovalent compounds. Why? Because they are having electrostatic force of attraction, due to which they bond each other to form ionic bonds. Clear? So by this we have completed the chemical properties. Okay. Rest of the topics we will bring in the next module. Thank you, students. Thank you and have a nice day.